In the last 2 weeks, we have seen significantly more progress being made all around Epic Universe. Not only have we seen the physical progress made, but there have been some more details of opening dates and names of attractions revealed in the last 2 weeks as well. Before we dive into this week's Universal Epic Universe update, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future construction updates, as well as the first new updates to hit YouTube. Without any delay, let's jump into this week's aerial views courtesy of BioReconstruct. Starting this week's updates just south of Epic Universe at Stella Nova and Terra Lunar Resorts, we have gotten our first look as to what we can expect inside these sister resorts, inside both the lobbies as well as the rooms. Just as we expected, these hotels will look just as futuristic as you could imagine, both in the theming and the overall architecture. Along with these renderings released by Universal, we have also gotten opening dates for these hotels. Stella Nova has an opening date of January 21st, 2025, followed by Terra Luna on February 25th. Rates for these two resorts start at $134 per night, which puts it on par with the resorts found closer to the Universal campus. Traveling up Kirkman Road into Epic Universe, workers continue to prep the main entry portal into Epic Universe. Seen in this close-up view, workers are tying in the rebar reinforcement into the arch as they are standing on the bottom of the form. The blue ladder leaning against the arch gives a size perspective of how large this portal will be once the forms are pulled away after the concrete is poured. Just inside the entry portal to Epic Universe, guests are met with a cascading waterfall feature which flows down towards the Atlantic restaurant. At the start of the water feature, new concrete forms have been placed in preparation for concrete. Several new concrete walls have also appeared in this area since our last update as well. It wasn't until this update where we have seen the actual path this waterfall feature will take. You can now see the concrete base of these waterfalls making its way around the landscape until they meet in the collecting pool at the base of the Atlantic restaurant. At the side of the Atlantic restaurant, there is another newly placed waterfall feature to pair with the main ones found at the front of the park. This also ends in the same collecting pool, right at the base of the restaurant. As guests make their way through Celestial Park and towards Starfall Racers, the decorative concrete pad in front of the entrance tunnel to Starfall Racers has seen more sections poured and colored. Under the arch of the entrance tunnel, concrete has been poured as well. As the ride trains exit the load station, making their way to the launch, it was pointed out to me by a viewer that the themed element in front was actually a shooting star. This could have been told by the tail that goes towards the load station. That metal framing in front of the coaster tracks we saw a couple of updates ago has grown some, and actually a second one has been placed between the two coaster tracks as well. Between the first and second main water feature of Epic Universe, where the concrete preparation was in progress for the bridge, that concrete has now been poured, leaving the walking path between the features. No more progress has been made on the panels in the Celestial Carousel, but around the base of the arches, in preparation to fill the second main water feature, waterproofing has been completed. The splash pad that was covered last update has since been uncovered, revealing the base foundation for all of the pipes that you can see sticking up out of the foundation. Inside of the main fountain at Epic Universe, workers can be seen painting and grinding the base of the main show fountain. Next to the main show fountain is the thought-to-be tavern, where a large roof structure has been placed since our last update. Alongside the back of this structure, the first pieces of roof metal are being added. This area is thought to be a seating area for the tavern that will overlook the main fountain. The circular concrete shape that popped up in front of the barbecue restaurant last update, that we were not sure was going to be a garden or fountain, we can now confirm that it will be a garden, since workers have placed a large tree in the center of that shape. The likely snack stand in front of the barbecue restaurant has another circular concrete shape near it as well. Similar concrete shapes can be found all throughout Epic Universe, and it is safe to assume that these structures will be tree planters. Flying into the Isle of Burk, the entry portal has seen color and detail appear on the Celestial Park side of the portal. Hidden under protective plastic, we should start to see fine detail on the front side of the portal in the next few updates. As guests make their way through the portal into the land, They are met by the land's main lagoon, which has been filled to its normal operating height. This is known, looking at the water level, by the launch coaster where the track flies under one of the footbridges and comes back out the other side. The water cannot go much higher without flowing over the themed logs, as well as the access staircase seen at the top of this image. This is presumably to check for leaks around the retaining wall and the water system underneath. We will more than likely see the lagoon filled and emptied several times in the next coming updates until Epic Universe officially opens in 2025. After seeing test dummies in the pair of spinning rides last update, we recently got video footage of the rides in action in a night test. This video shows how the ride will be in motion as well as the individual dragons inside of the pack. If you look closely, you can see the dragons spinning and flipping on their own, presumably from the inertia of the ride. Next door, at the land's launch coaster, there has been some recent foundation work inside of the queue area for the coaster. Presumably, this is for the covering for the queue area so guests are not left completely in the open. The scaffolding that has surrounded the second launch of the coaster has been removed, revealing the moss-covered rockwork on either side of the track. On the opposite side of the track rockwork, the wire rock chip mesh is clearly visible around the possible children's play area, ready for the concrete. Inside of the load station of the coaster is a dual load station design with alternating tracks to allow two trains to be loaded and unloaded at the same time. This setup is similar to the ones found at Revenge of the Mummy and Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios. Around the coaster's first launch, the theming work continues above the track, where we started to see the wood covering begin to be installed a couple of updates ago. Just up the lagoon from the coaster's launch station is one of the land's retail shops that started to receive metal framework on top of the structure, similar to the one found above Mead Hall. Between the retail location and the lagoon, the rock chips have been installed from the retaining wall, starting their way up the retail store's walls to the roof. Over at Mead Hall, there have been rock chips added to the back side of the Mead Hall rooftop frame. This is our first look at how Mead Hall will be constructed, as if it were built into a hillside along with several of the other structures in the lane. Just outside of Mead Hall is the land's boat ride, which saw a lot of progress last update. Recently, we have come to believe that this ride will be called Fire Drill. Similar to the launch coaster, there is some recent foundation work in Fire Drill's queue area. This again is believed to be foundations for coverings in the queue area. Earlier this year, there was an arch structure at the edge of the boat ride lagoon with an entry. Originally thought to be the entrance to the boat ride, now it is likely that this structure will be the exit of the boat ride. On the other side of the boat ride lagoon is the land's other quick service dining location. In the front of this location, workers can be seen sculpting a name and other masonry blocks above the entrance. Do you have a guess as to what the name of this location could be? Drop a comment below to see what you think. Exiting the Isle of Burk and jumping over to the new Wizarding World, in front of the land behind the entry portal to the left of the replica arch is brickwork for the building sides. It is likely the building on the right side of the arch will have a similar look as to those on the left. Inside of the streets of Paris, there is not a whole lot new to report, other than some of the building fronts have been painted to reflect different structures, seen between the scaffolding. On the rooftops, there has also been some paint as to what is likely to be themed chimneys. As guests exit the land, workers are currently prepping a concrete pour with reinforcing rebar just outside of the exit to the Wizarding World. Between the Wizarding World and Dark Universe sits the park's on-site hotel, Grand Helios Hotel. On the front side of the hotel in the pool area, framing for the pool bar has been placed since we last checked in. The building facade of the hotel has been placed up to the 3rd floor of guest rooms and is now starting on the 4th floor of guest rooms. On the roof, structures continue to be built as well as concrete forms placed for support columns. It is still believed that all of the guest room floors have been poured and workers are now currently on the rooftop amenities, which include a rooftop bar. Over the next couple of updates, we should start to see more of the infrastructure on the roof for the bar. Next door, in Dark Universe, based off of Universal Monsters, blue roof peaks similar to the ones found at Curse of the Werewolf are appearing above the scaffolding throughout the village of Darkmoor. All throughout Darkmoor, you can see sculpted masonry ready for paint peeking out of the scaffolding that surrounds it at both ends of the village. At Curse of the Werewolf, inside of the track where the forest was recently transplanted, the concrete that was thought to be for theming is now known to be for the queue area, which can be seen wrapping through the trees. Looking through the forest, you can see the pathway leading up to the load station of the coaster. Additional coaster cars can be seen staged between Burning Blades Tavern and the coaster tracks. At Burning Blades Tavern, more of the detailed masonry work can be seen, as well as some skulls have been placed near the entrance on top of one of the walls. Looking through the scaffolding, we can get an even better look of the windmill than we were able to last update. Next to the main ride building, the Lacey snack stand has had its chimney sculpted similar to the sculpting seen inside of the village. This chimney is now ready for paint. Out back behind the Lacey's is the outdoor overflow queue area for the main ride. The concrete formed in a circle thought to be a fountain will more than likely be a tree, as seen in front of the barbecue restaurant. Next to the Lacey's, we can see an opening in the manor, which is a possible ride exit back into the main lane. The manor has seen some more detail work done around the center of the manor, and a few pieces of scaffolding has been removed as we get closer to the total reveal of the manor. Inside of the Mushroom Kingdom, more specifically Donkey Kong Country, there have been some developments in the possible names that have recently been announced for Universal Studios Japan. Universal officially announced the expansion for Super Nintendo World in Japan will be called Donkey Kong Country, with the roller coaster similar to the one in Epic Universe named Minecart Madness. Also announced is the Treehouse character meet and greet, which has been rumored for Orlando for some time. Inside of Donkey Kong Country, we can get a better view of the oversized block on the ride building for the coaster. Inside of the Mushroom Kingdom, there have been several new concrete pours in front of both Peach's Castle and Bowser's Lair. All of the ride vehicles at Yoshi's Adventure appear to be installed as they are making the entire loop around the track. On top of Peach's Castle, there is a significant amount of sculpting foam on the roof, presumably for the roof elements of Peach's Castle. Out front at the entry portal, the roof has been painted green to match the exterior walls of the land. This brings us back into Celestial Park Epic Universe. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe before you exit this update. And with that, it is time that we end this week's construction update of Universal Epic Universe. Please remember, if you enjoyed this video, to give it a like and share. This has been Justin from Adventures Away. Until next time, travelers, have a great one.